As explained by Greg, promoting the use of all native languages brings wide-ranging societal and even economical benefits. But just slightly earlier, we concluded that language death typically stems from power imbalances between populations, which, at least in my eyes, is a fact of life, something we cannot run away from. Complete equality, both in opportunity and outcome, is most likely simply utopian, as illustrated by many very large-scale social experiments in the 20th century. From this stems the natural question: is it even possible to avoid language death?
Well, it's possible. That's not to say that it's easy or it would have already been done across the board. Well, first of all, we know that there have been in certain places stable multilingual, multi-generational stable multilingualism or bilingualism. So it is possible for languages to coexist. It's not a zero sum game always. It's only a zero sum game because of the ideologies associated with the languages that are being dominant and being advanced or promoted, whether de facto or institutionally through government actions and whatnot. That's a zero sum game mentality. Okay. It's like, if you believe you're one thing, you can't believe you're another, but you can believe that you are Wa and you can believe that you're Thai at the same time. So ironically, I would say that one of the greatest vectors of creating real, true national in a geopolitical sense identity, not sub-regional identity, because every country has sub-regional identities, and those are real and salient. And whether that is grounded in an ethno-linguistic identity or grounded in just a geographic identity is, but funnily enough, probably from my observations, the most successful way of instilling national pride on the national geopolitical level is football, or what we hear in America called soccer. Rallying around a national team, okay, in some countries, maybe it's cricket. Like in India, it would be cricket. But the reality is that makes people proud about their country, is that this is our country, this is our fellow countrymen, and those people can come from different ethnic groups and belong to different home languages, and that does not stop them from rallying around those people when they are playing with the national colors on. Okay, and so you can be Pular and Senegalese at the same time. Okay, and you can so whether or not you have to use Wolof or French in Senegal, it doesn't mean you're not Pular. These are, and you can be just as proud as a Wolof person is of the national team. That's just an example of something that's easy for a lot of people to get their head around. There are other contexts where this is true. So I would say that, again, when you have a zero-sum game mentality, where there are some, if you do X, you cannot do Y. If X, then not Y, is not a useful ideology on almost any level. And certainly when you're dealing with sociological phenomena like identity and these type of things, then you have to understand that multi is good. And you can be two things at one time. You don't have to have allegiances to just one identity. And a lot of government officials who often come from these enfranchised groups don't understand that, because they feel like, well, everyone should speak blank because I speak blank, and blank is the identity that is the best one here. Okay, and that's just, just have to take the first part of that statement might be right. Everyone maybe should speak blank. Okay, but that doesn't mean they speak blank only, whatever blank is. That just means that they have to, in some contexts, speak blank. In other contexts, they don't. No one cares what language you're talking to your family at home over dinner in. Okay, that doesn't affect the national identity at all. If tolerance was promoted, then that is that people would never feel like they're at odds with each other internally. In immigrant communities in the United States, people are like, oh, I'm Irish American, I'm Greek American. That's fine. Go to your celebrations, eat your traditional foods, and even speak your traditional languages. That's great. Now, America is a country, of course, that has, like many nations, a very strong monolingual subtractive ideology. You must speak English, and it's often couched in fear, xenophobia, fear of, what are they talking about? It's not American to speak that, or blah blah. These are just nonsensical fears that are based in xenophobia and not based in actual reality. There's no reason why you can't have multiple allegiances and identities, both of which are salient to yourself at various contexts and meaningful in different contexts. You can be deeply proud of your national identity while still maintaining the fact that you have in that national mosaic a particular role, a particular place.
I don't know how about you, but I personally find this notion of multi identity that Greg speaks about extremely powerful. I must admit that I myself was and still am guilty of adopting the primitive zero sum game mentality. I suggest you take a pause here and think. Maybe adopting a multi identity way of thinking would solve some of your personal identity conflicts, help you place yourself better, craft a better fitting, more accurate description of what you feel you are.